So we're back. Today is Thursday. Chav Daled Nisan Tovshin Ayin Gimel. We're in Teres Menachem, Sefer Mamorim Tovshin Yud Aleph Tovshin Yud Beis. We are in the middle of the Maimer of Yom Beis the Chag HaShavuos Tovshin Yud Aleph Alpayim Shana Kodma Torah. We are on page Tzadik Hey. But you know what? We're going to go back to page Tzadik Dalet. We're going to start from chapter 3, Beis Gimel. Just to get back into it, because it's been such a long interruption between the last year because of Pesach. To recap, the Medrash says the Torah preceded the world by 2,000 years, preceded the creation of the world by 2,000 years. This is derived from a pasuk in Mishlei. The pasuk in Mishlei says, this is in chapter 8, pasuk 30, Lamed, V'eheye etzlei amoin, V'eheye sha'ashuyim yom yom, Misachekes lefanav b'chol eis. That's pasuk Lamed. The next pasuk says, Misachekes b'tevel artzei v'shashuai es b'nei adam. Translated as meaning, I was a nursling beside him. This is a reference to Torah. And I was a delight every day, playing before him at all times, playing in the habitable world of his earth, and my delights with the children of man. 5 descriptions in connection to Torah. The second description, I was a delight every day, is expressed by saying twice the word yom, yom, yom. So the sages take this as literal, yom, yom, 2 days. And Hashem's day is 1,000 years. That we know from another pasuk, right? We say it every day, and we say it every Shabbos and davening and Tefillah l'Moshe. Ki elef shana b'necha k'yom esmel. 1,000 years is for you as 1 day, right? So Hashem's day is 1,000 years. Yom Yom is 2 days. 2 days of who? Whose days? Hashem's days. It's a reference to Torah. What does that mean? So therefore, we're talking about 2,000 years. And therefore, we derive from here that Torah preceded the creation of the world by 2,000 years. That's the Medrash. So the question was, the Rebbe brought from the previous Rebbe, what is the idea of the Torah preceding the world by 2,000 years? Obviously, this is not a reference to physical time as we know it. Right? The whole concept of time is a creation. It's a new innovation, just like anything else in creation that's new. It's created, didn't exist before. So before the world was created, time didn't exist. So what does it mean that Torah preceded the world by 2,000 years? The whole concept of time, of years, didn't exist. Then the Rebbe delved deeper into the question. What actually is the question? And he went in stages. The bottom line was that not only the context of time was created, not only that which is measured by time was created when the world was created, but time itself was created when the world was created. Therefore, the question remains, what does it mean when we say the Torah preceded the world by 2,000 years? So the previous Rebbe explained that we're not talking about time in the context of what we know as time, but we're talking about time here in the context of level. A higher level comes before the lower level. In that sense, the world preceded the Torah preceded the world by 2,000 years. What are we talking about? We're not talking about years. We're talking about level. What are those levels? Chochmah and Bina. Chochmah and Bina are referred to as Alefcha, from the expression of Aleph, Alpayim. So Chochmah is one Aleph. Aleph also means teaching. So Chochmah is one Aleph, Bina is the second Aleph, so you get Alpayim. So in other words, when the sages say the Torah preceded the world by Alpayim Shana, it means that it preceded the world in the sense that they are from the level of Chochmah and Bina. Torah is at the level of Chochmah and Bina. What does that mean? The world comes from Midas. It says in the pasuk, Sheishes Yamim Asa Hashem Es Hashemayim V'Sa'aretz, in Bereshis, that Hashem made the world in 6 days. But really, if that was the meaning, it should have said Bisheishes Yamim Asa Hashem Es Hashemayim V'Sa'aretz. Hashem made the world in 6 days. Sheishes Yamim Asa means Hashem made the 6 days. What does that mean? He made the 6 days. That's the deeper definition. He created the 6 celestial days, which are the Midas, the 6 Midas, Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes, Netzach, Hod, and Yesod, and correspondingly, Es Hashemayim V'Sa'aretz, and then the Shemayim and Aretz came forth from those 6 Midas. So the creation of the world is related to the 6 attributes, the 6 emotional faculties, the 6 emotional attributes, from Chesed through Yesod. Shabbos, of course, Malchus. And Torah is from the intellectual. It's connected to the intellectual attributes of Chochmah and Bina. So therefore, Torah precedes the world by Alpayim. Alefcha Chochmah, Alefcha Bina. Fine. So now the Rebbe goes on and says, okay, that's all fine and good. But and where did we derive this from? We derived this from the second description in the pasuk in Mishlei. Just mentioned that the pasuk in Mishlei, these two verses in Mishlei, actually enumerate 5 components in relation to Torah. Right? From where we derive this principle, that Alpayim Shana the Torah precedes the creation of the world by Alpayim, is from the second part of the pasuk, the second part of the first pasuk, because the first thing the pasuk says is etzli amen, Torah as a nursling beside Hashem. The second part of the pasuk says shashuim yom yom, Torah is Hashem's plaything, Hashem's delight, yom yom. Why do the sages zero in on the second aspect of the pasuk and not on the first one? Why do they start from the second one? Why do they express the greatness of Torah, the fact that Torah is greater than the world, by focusing in on the second aspect of the pasuk rather than the first one? It would seem that the first one is the highest level. So if you want to talk about the greatness of Torah, focus in on the highest level. Why focus in on the second level? So the Rebbe had a whole discussion whether or not the pasuk goes in ascending order or descending order. Perhaps we could say that the pasuk goes in ascending order, meaning to say that the first one is the lowest. But Slamin would be the lowest level of Torah. Moving on to Sha'ashuyim, the higher level. So the Rebbe discounted that, and he concluded that what? That we're talking about Torah in, these are descriptions of Torah in descending order, meaning the first one is the highest, second one is lower down, third even lower, and so on and so forth. Right? So the bottom line is that the Torah, the second aspect of Shashuyim Yom Yom, is the second level. So why focus in on the second level? Why don't you, if you want to describe the greatness of Torah, focus in on the highest level, the first aspect that is mentioned in the pasuk. Then the Rebbe asked also that in the pasuk itself, with Morgan, in the pasuk itself it says "V'eheye etzlei amen." V'eheye seems to refer to the future. Torah will be amen, a nursling by Hashem. even though grammatically when you add a vav to a word, it changes the tense. So even though ehya is future, if you add the vav ehya, it changes it from. I'm sorry. Even though ehya is past, if you add the vav, I'm sorry, ehya is future. So even though ehya is future, when you add the vav, it changes it from future to past. However, the Zohar says, for ehya etzla amain, that Torah will be nursing by Hashem. We're talking about a revelation in the future. Question is why? Why is it related to the future? So that's more or less, roughly, in short, the summary of the Maimer up until now, and we'll start on page Tzadik Dalet from Ois Gimel, chapter 3, at the bottom of the page. Well, in order to understand this, we first need to preface the explanation of the 5 aspects that are mentioned in the Torah, in this pasuk, in these 2 verses of Mishlei that I just mentioned. These 5 references, 5 descriptions of Torah. The first one, I was or I will be a nursling beside him, beside Hashem. I was a delight every day. Misachek is the fun of Bechol Eis, playing before him at all times. That's the third one. Misachekes betevel arze, playing in his habitable earth. V'shashu I es b'nei Adam, and my delights with the children of man. These are the 5 descriptions of Torah as they are enumerated in these 2 psukim. Chassidus explains concerning this. The mashakos of Etzli Amain, that when the pasuk says, I was or I will be a nursling beside him, this is koi ala Torah kvi shibas Moses Barech. This is a reference to Torah as it is at the level of the very essence of Hashem. Etzloi, the highest level. Mashakos of Shashoyim Yom Yom. The next description, the next aspect, Torah as a plaything, Yom Yom. This is a reference to Torah as it is at the level of the intellect, the celestial intellect. Chachma Bina, which is generally the idea of intellect. Concerning this level, it says the expression sha'ashuyim, delights, Sha'ashu I, although it doesn't say my delights, Hashem's delights, which would be a reference to the delight, Torah as a delight at the very essential level of godliness. It just says delights, right? So in other words, this is a mild reference description that we're not talking about Torah at the very essential level. This is going to become relevant when we talk about the very lowest level where it says V'sha'ashu I es b'nei Adam, my delights with the children of man. Over there it does say my delights, Hashem's delights. And the Rebbe will explain that the very essential level finds expression in the very lowest level. But that's the oblique point that Rebbe makes here. But nevertheless, over here it says Sha'ashuyim, delights. In other words, even though we're talking about Torah at the level of intellect, so where does delight come into it? Delight seems to be a reference to tainuk, to pleasure. And in the levels of Sfiris, in the upper levels of godliness, we know that tainuk is beyond intellect, because Malchus is the lowest, Midas is the next one up, Moichin, intellect, is the next one, Rotzen is higher, and tainuk is even higher. So if we're talking about Torah at the level of what? Of Moichin, of intellect, why are you referring to it as Shashuyim, as delights? Because even Torah at the level of intellect has within it a component of pleasure, of tainug. Why? Our sages say in the Zohar, there's an expression in the Zohar, Torah comes out from Chochmah. Right? As we know, Torah is related to Chochmah, as we just explained, right? However, the expression here is mei chochma nafkes. It comes out from chochma, which in a deeper sense means not that Torah comes from the level of chochma, but chochma is that which brings Torah out from its level. Chochma is the level which causes the Torah to become revealed. But revealed from where? From beyond chochma. That's the point that is made. Yidu adiyuk b'lashon Chazal. It is known the accurate choice of language in the expression of our sages. Eiraisim chochma nafkes. Torah comes out from chochma. Nafkes daikes specifically comes out. What does that mean? Shagilui shelahu ayadei chochma. The revelation of Torah is through chochma. But what chochma reveals Torah from where? Where does Torah come from? Aval shorsha. But the source of Torah, hulamayla ma chochma, is beyond chochma. What's beyond chochma? B'chinas hatainuk shelamayla, the celestial pleasure. V'lachein gam keshabol is galas b'mechin chochma bina yesh ba'inyan shashuyim. And therefore, when Torah becomes revealed in the brain, in the mind of chochma and bina, yesh ba'inyan shashuyim, it has within it a component of delight of tainuk. As we know that tainuk, pleasure, finds expression specifically in the level of bina. As the saying is, his galus atik bebina, the revelation of atik, which is the inner component of keser, of tainuk, which is tainuk, pleasure, is where? In bina. Vizehu mashakosov avad alevi hu. This is what it says concerning the Levi, who is in the Kava Small, in the left line, which is the idea of Bina, and so on and so forth. Kohen is Kava Yamin on the right side. Levi is Kava Small on the left side. So the Levi, it says V'avad HaLevi Hu. In the pasuk in the verse where the pasuk talks about this, the word Hu is almost, it seems to be superfluous almost. So the Chazal say Hu do Atika. The Zohar says that what's Hu? Hu is a reference to Atik, the inner component of Keser, which is Tainug. She's Galus Atik Bebina. So Levi is the idea of Bina. Hu is Atik, is the eternal dimension of Keser, Tainug. The Levi is the one in which Hu finds expression, finds revelation. So the revelation of Atik, which is Tainug, finds expression in Bina. Meaning to say that Chochma and Bina, the levels of the intellect, are associated with what? With the revelation of Tainug, of pleasure. The Rebbe will articulate this further in the next section of this ois, which we will continue in Mitzvah Shem tomorrow.